Hey guys, it's Rena. Welcome back to my channel, and for anyone who might be new, thank you for tuning in and welcome. So today I have a video that is on something very new, very current. I definitely have some other videos I've already filmed and other ones that I have, in my head that I need to film, but I thought I wanted to put this one up first since it's like brand new and something really exciting. Now, I did just try and film this once. And the lighting was good, like it looked good, but it was lagging a little bit. I do have a very poor setup in terms of how I film, and I don't have a cute backdrop or anything besides my cute little Harry Potter poster. But yeah, so I just kind of have to trial and error, this whole thing sometimes. So I want to do an unboxing and first impressions video on this, and although I did try and film this once before, I only cut the tape, so that's all you guys really missed. I promise I didn't look inside. I just cut the tape, and that's as far as I got before deciding I wanted to try and refilm this. I just got back from the gym, which is why I'm, fully clad in gym gear here, my sports bra, and I just twisted it more, which is so uncomfortable. There we go. Yeah, my Alice in Wonderland big flowy top. So that's why I'm looking like that, but I am pretty impressed. My makeup seems to have held up pretty good, so I'm excited about that. Anyway, let's get into this and unbox it and show you guys what we got. So, I mean, you're going to know what it is by the title, so I guess, spoilers, it's the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette. So, there's a bit of bubble wrap in here, and it was just right on the top, which is kind of frustrating because there's nothing underneath the palette or around it other than some paper, which I feel like wouldn't really hold it too well. So I've never ordered from, let me start over. I've ordered from Kat Von D's website directly once, and it was for my fiance's sister's. Actually, no, it wasn't for any reason. I just bought her lipstick she'd been wanting for a long time. So I never got to see the presentation of their packaging. So this is really cool. I like how they have a personalized box. And then my palette is wrapped in Kat Von D. I hope you can see it. It has a little symbol on the tissue paper. And the sticker also has that pattern of the Kat Von D logo. I'll try and carefully open that just in case I want to save it. And I'm really out of order today. It's been kind of a messy week getting back into school. So let's just start from the very beginning here with this. This was supposed to come out on Sephora's website January 10th. And that's, I think it was for VIB and Rouge only. I could be wrong. And it's coming out in stores, I think the 27th of January, somewhere around there. And then, surprise, on January 6th, Kat Von D's website, Kat Von D Beauty, put this out ahead of time. And I ordered it then. And if you spent $50, you got free 3-day shipping, everything. This was my birthday present to myself. This is one of the, hopefully last, I don't want to say this and then have you guys be like, but you said. But I'm going to try not to buy as many palettes this year. They are my biggest downfall, biggest weakness. Are palettes, but I got rid of one, and I'm going through my collection slowly and kind of figuring out what needs to go, what can stay. And this was something I really wanted, and I love the Metal Matte palette. That this was something I definitely wanted. So when it came out on the 6th, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it from Kat Von D. I'll miss out on my points from Sephora. But they had, if you spent $50, you got a mini deluxe size ink liner in Wolf, so I thought that was kind of cool. And I like the tattoo liner, but I've never tried the ink liner. I haven't heard great things about it. But I also bought the ink liner in Dali. I swatched this at Sephora. The color is really beautiful, and it lasted forever on my hand. Even when I took showers and washed my hands, I think it stayed around for 2 days. I could still see the color. I will be honest, I mostly bought this because it's called Dali. I love Salvador Dali and all things art, so I really wanted this for that reason. And I want to kind of compare it against the tattoo liner and maybe do a video on that, so that's a future thing. Let's get on to the real reason for this. The Pastel Goth palette. This is gorgeous packaging. I can't get over this box and the beautiful ombre and the, yes. Everything about this packaging is a yes for me. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of upset about this because the color selection. You know, you think of Pastel Goth, and Pastel Goth is, first of all, some people are like, how can pastel and goth be a thing? But there is a whole subsection of goth culture that is pastel. It's like Lolita, and I'm not a part of this, so if I get something wrong, I'm sorry if you are a pastel goth. You know, I'm not trying to offend you or anything. It's just from my perception, it's mostly like very, very pale, pretty colors like pale pink, baby blue, mint, those type of seafoam, you know, stuff like that. Those type of colors to me are what I interpret as pastel goth. Very like light pastel, airy colors. And a lot of people are saying that this is like neither pastel nor goth. So, and then there's other people who are saying maybe Kat was trying to bring in the art section of pastels, like the medium, which would make sense for these mattes that are kind of creamy, apparently. I haven't swatched them yet, but they're supposed to be very creamy mattes. Maybe she's trying to riff off of, you know, pastels for art, and then bring in the goth section to make it kind of a play on words. I don't know. All I know is this is beautiful. It looks beautiful, and I'm excited to see the colors. So I'm going to read the back here. It just says, Pastel Goth Eyeshadow Palette. Your soul may be dark, but that doesn't mean your makeup should be. Rock your soft side with this palette of 8 high pigment matte shadows. They are all matte, which is fantastic, because if you have like a palette such as the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette, or maybe the new Urban Decay After Dark, or one of those types of palettes, this is going to be an awesome companion palette to bring, you know, those together and kind of finish the look off, I think. So let's see. I don't know why I thought it was going to be metal. I have no idea. Like in the pictures, it just looked metal, but it is cardboard. That's fine with me. It definitely fits in more with the metal matte palette, but here it is. Gosh, this packaging is just... This is some of my favorite packaging I think I've ever seen. It's just beautiful. I'm kind of scared to open it because it wasn't perfectly packaged, but yeah. I have some powder kick up, minor, you know, on here, but yeah, just a little bit of powder kick up. Here's the palette itself. So I'm going to tell you guys the shade names if you can't read them. This is Shell. Is it? No, I'm wrong. Star, Clementine. Oh god, what is that? Meow. Dope, Doom, Gloom, I love that, Dagger, and Skull. I want to say that Skull was part of the Mi Vida Loca remix, but it might not be. It might have been Skulls, and it might have been Shimmery, but it's very similar, I think. So I don't want to show you guys. I don't really want to bend it back. I hate that first bend is the worst, but I don't want to blind you guys with the mirror. It's a nice mirror, kind of full size. I just noticed mine doesn't have a protector on it. That's kind of weird. Most palettes usually have a little plastic protector that you can peel off yourself just to protect it in travel, but it's in okay condition. So again, here are the colors. I have a brush here. Let me put all this stuff back there. I have a brush. This is an Urban Decay brush. It's clean. I know it's kind of stained, but I have my Urban Decay brush, which is what I pretty much apply my lid shades with. And I'm going to apply them with a brush, and I'm also going to apply them with my finger, and I'm going to do this over primer because I always wear my shadows over primer, and I'm going to give you guys my first impressions. So this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. I'm a big fan of this primer. I think I've talked about it many times. It's very comparable to Urban Decay, so I love it. So let's go into Star with the brush. And I'm going to show you like one pass, and then I'm going to build it up. So there's Star. So far, it's pretty good for a yellow, especially a matte yellow. Not pastel. This is not a pastel yellow to me. Let's do the second build. Definitely is buildable. It's a very buttery yellow. It definitely looks a lot more pastel than, say, Butter Cupcake from Sugar Pill, but it's not like what you think of when you think of like a baby pastel, like what would be in a baby's room or Easter yellow or something. But it is a beautiful creamy yellow color, slightly white, more white than some shades like the yellow in the Urban Decay Full Spectrum or Butter Cupcake. So next one is Clementine, which is like this peachy salmony shade. This is the one I'm worried about in terms of like application, and I'm a little scared about it after swatching it too. It's very fair, which I think is going to be a beautiful like transition shade for like orange looks or warm toned in general. You can see how light it is. I think of all the ones, I haven't swatched all of them obviously, but this one looks the most pastel to me, as would be a traditional pastel. So I'm going to build it, and the reason I'm concerned about this one is it looks like it shows all the textures of my skin, which I don't have much issue with most of the time, but even on my hand I can see it. But right now I have a lot of eczema going on my body, and I sometimes get it on my eyelids. Not a lot, but sometimes I'll get a patch like right there, and it's like okay if I'm using shimmer shadows or something, but something as light and matte and drier, I mean, I don't want to say it's like super dry. I haven't touched it yet, so I can't feel it with my actual like sense of touch. I guess I said that really weird, but you know what I mean. Like it'll emphasize it a little bit more. So I'm gonna go into Meow now. This one I'm excited for. This is probably my favorite, just from looking at it. It's this beautiful like lilac-y light purple shade, and I'm really impressed with this one. It looks so pretty. Gorgeous, and it's very smooth. This one goes on very smooth and even. No pigmentation or sheerness. I know it's a very light color, but I hope you can see that. Alright, the next one is Dope, which it looks like, to me, honestly, I think one of the most interesting shades in the palette, because it definitely looks like a dark periwinkle. So let's see how this one looks with one swipe. Oh yeah, that's a cool color. That's awesome. It's not pastel, certainly, because you know it's darker than a normal periwinkle, but here it is with 2 layers, so it's pretty pigmented, very smooth, very pigmented, and even. All right, here's Doom. This one feels a little kind of like a clementine in terms of showing texture, but it's very vibrant, very beautiful. Let me add a little more to that. It doesn't really need it, but there's Doom, very vibrant. All right, and here's, and by the way, I'm wiping my brush off in between colors, so I don't want you guys to think they're getting like cross-polluted or anything. And then here's Gloom. I put this down below. But this is a really cool shade. It's like swampy, like a very swamp green, and it was super pigmented. I think of all of them so far, this has been like the most pigmented on the first swatch. 2 more. This is Dagger, and it's a gray, which I really wish they had just included like a baby pink or something else instead of this color. But it provides a little bit of depth. You can add it into these shades, you know, to create a smoky eye. There is Dagger, kind of a, I can't tell. It looks almost like a green toned gray, and I can't tell if it's just because it's next to the green. I think it is pretty green toned in general. Let me add it, build it. That one didn't need to be built. It really didn't make a difference, but there you go. And the final color is Skull, which is a matte white, which we see all the time from Kat Von D. This one, it's extremely powdery. Like out of all of them, that one kicked up a lot of powder on like in the pan and swatched. So like I'll show you. I blew it away last time, but you see how much powder there is right there? Anyway, so be careful if you're applying that to like your brow bone, that it doesn't like fall all over your look. Definitely tap your brush off. So overall, like for these being brush swatches, I'm very impressed with how vibrant they are. I'm going to go ahead and do finger swatches of a couple of them just to feel the texture. So okay, they are very buttery. There's Star. I actually think they apply better with the brush. Weird, I guess. Let me try Meow, which is the purple. They definitely apply better with the brush. These are my finger swatches. These are the brush swatches. Dope. Dope is really pretty. Yeah. Okay, so these are not thin, and I don't know how to explain the texture of them. They definitely actually feel like art pastels to me. I am not a good artist, but I did like to do crafts, and I liked to be artsy when I was younger, and I had a set of pastels. So they feel that way to me. They're creamy, yet I was going to say something so dumb and say creamy yet dry. It's like, I feel like the mattes in, for example, the Mi Vida Loco Remix palette, when you would touch them, would crumble more. These don't crumble in the pan. They're very soft, and they feel kind of a little thin. But with a brush, they're able to be packed on really well, and you can kind of build them. But they don't feel too dry. Like, they're not as dry as something like a Too Faced shadow, which I find to be very dry, but they're not as creamy as I think maybe the Metal mattes. They're very similar, but they're a little bit different. That sounds really dumb. I'm having a hard time stringing words together today, but it seems like it's going to be a manageable formula. This is just my first impressions, obviously, but upon swatching with my fingers, they feel packed into the pan tightly, but not so much that you're not getting pigment, you know? Some of them kick up more dust than other ones, but for the most part, they seem to be pretty solid. Maybe slightly thinner formula, but still creamy at the same time, if that makes any sense. So that's just my first impressions. I'm really impressed with these brush swatches because, dang, normally brush swatches aren't as good. So I'm pretty happy. I have to say, I just closed it for the first time. For being a palette that you would like pull backwards, and for being cardboard, the magnetic is pretty strong. So I'm happy with that. And I like how this is a thin palette in comparison to like Metal Matte. This is going to be very, very easy to store. So this is $38. It's now available on Sephora and Kat Von D's website. So, so far, I enjoy it. I'm going to get some use out of it tomorrow, this weekend, see how I like it. But so far, I'm impressed with the swatches, and I'm excited to see what I can do with this. So I do want to give a quick note before I end this video about the Kat Von D ordering process. So I ordered on that January 6th, and I wish I had just ordered from Sephora because I think I would have gotten it the same day. I had to email them before they would actually ship it out. Like, they said that they had been processing it, but I don't know if I believe that, because a couple people from a makeup group I'm in had to kind of nudge them, and then immediately after we nudged them, they sent us a shipping notification. So it was a little bit curious. But so I don't know if I'm super happy, and I'm not happy with the way it was packaged with this just laying on top. So I don't know if I'd order from Kat Von D's website again unless there was something that was like exclusive to her site. So that's just my little rant about that. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you got this palette, let me know. Or if you have dupes maybe for people who want this palette but maybe only want one or two colors, let me know down below. Yeah, and if there's anything you want me to address in the full review, you know, just tell me down below and I'll try and get to it. Maybe swatches, comparisons to like Metal Matte. I can do that if you guys want. So let me know, and I will talk to you guys soon.